This is your basic Blender tutorial number 3. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about different types of workflow and the modifier uh, Boolean. In sculpture, you have two basic workflows. You've got an additive workflow and a subtractive workflow. In an additive workflow, you're always adding to your object. So if you're using clay, you got a basic shape and you're adding more clay on top of it. Or if you're doing like carving, you're doing a subtractive way of working and you're carving material away. Blender allows you to do that as well, and one of the modifiers that really helps you do that is the Boolean modifier. So let's say I've got this rectangle here and I want to add a hole to it that is round. Make sure that I don't have it selected. Go over here to the add modifier and add a cylinder. Cylinder is too big, so I'm going to hit S for scale, move my mouse in until the cylinder fits within inside the rectangle. There's my cylinder inside my rectangle. I'm going to use this basically like a cookie cutter. So let's say I was doing a ring and I wanted that to be heart-shaped. I can take that and hit tab. I want to select all of the things through at the same time, so I'm going to switch over to the wireframe mode. I'm going to switch to the vertex manipulation. I'm going to start selecting and moving my vertices so that it starts to look more like a heart. Again, I went into the top-down view, so I just clicked on the Z and the navigation. Hitting Shift and left click to select. And I can continue manipulate this until it, looks just exactly right. But I think that looks good enough. All right, so if this is going to be, let's say this is going to be the band of our ring or whatever. I like the orientation of the heart. I'm going to rotate it, so I'm going to hit RZ to rotate it on the Z axis. I'm going to type in 90. Now if I look at this from the top, this is the orientation I want my heart, but the placement isn't exactly right. I can manually move that until it looks right to my eyeball, or I can also use the object transformation. So if I select both of these objects, object transformation, and then we go to align to active. Oh, sorry, I forgot I rotated that. After you do some rotations, you need to apply the transformation. So you'll need to hit Control A and then go to apply all transformations. Otherwise, it'll do weird stuff to you. All right, so I got my object selected. I go object, transform, and now that's aligned so that it's in the center of my object. Well, let's say it was over here. Object transform, line to active. There you go. All right. So now I don't want the heart popping out. What I want is that heart taken away, so that if this were like a ring or something, it'd be like a window through the object. And come in here. I'm just going to click on the rectangle for now. Here, I'm going to go to Boolean operation. So add modifier, wrench for your modifier tab. Select your object, and select the wrench, and then go to Boolean operation, which is under general. Boolean. And here you have a couple different ways of doing this. You can do intersect. So if I take this and I select that object, what you'll get is that the Boolean operation just makes a mesh where the two objects overlap. You can select union, which means that it'll take both objects and you'll have all of both objects. Or you can select difference, and in difference it'll cut that second object out of the first one. So if I take that and I go Boolean and then I apply that, I can come back here and delete that part, and now I've got that area cut out of my rectangle. There are lots of different ways to use this tool. It's very handy. So typically, if I were going to make this ring, I would make it a ring to start with, here's what might be easier actually. Add mesh cylinder, and then we're going to rotate Y 90, Control A to apply all transformations. And we're going to look at it from the Z axis, so we're looking straight down on top of it. Scale it on the X axis to make it more narrow. So SX, make it more narrow. Okay. It's almost ring shaped already. I'm going to hit Control C, Control V. And I'm going to click off it and click on the second cylinder here, the copied cylinder. And I'm going to hit S to scale that down. That. And then look at it from the Y axis. And I'm going to hit SX to scale on the X axis. That. I'm going to select the first cylinder, the one that's on the outside. Go to the modifiers tab, which is the wrench, Boolean operation, difference. That's our cookie cutter. Cut that thing out. Go to apply and get rid of that. Now, I would do this part first, and then that's when I would add, I'll just use a cube. So if I wanted to cut shapes out of that, then I would wait until I made it a cylinder, so it's ring shaped. Then I would do the Boolean operation. And the reason for that is that if I do the Boolean operation and then I use like a lattice deform, what would happen is that the insides of these cutout areas would become more narrow as opposed to staying straight as they go all the way through. that's the Boolean operation. Next time I will show you how to use the picture reference and using the extrude tool to copy a picture.